Thank you, delegates. ASU members work day and night in community services that dedicate everything that they do to ensuring that we do have a fair go for all Australians. Delegates, I rise to second the motion, and I'd like to take this opportunity to speak briefly on something that makes Australia great, and that is the concept of a fair go for all. A strong welfare system, properly funded community and disability services, this is what ensures that everyone in our community is supported. This assurance that no one gets left behind is an important part of our living standards. Since Tony Abbott has been in power, we have seen nearly $1 billion in community sector funding ripped away from the vital frontline services that support the vulnerable in our community. This means that we are seeing community sector jobs lost, programs cut, services closing their doors, and most devastating of all, we are seeing vulnerable members of the community being denied the supports and services that they need to live with dignity and respect. It is a human right to live with dignity and respect. The types of vital services that we are seeing cut, closed or corporatised include frontline domestic violence services, services that support women to leave violence, closing their doors, having their funding cut. Aboriginal and community legal services, without which many low-income, unemployed, elderly and vulnerable people would be completely locked out of the justice system. Home and community care services, homelessness services, mental health services, employment services, all being hit hard by Abbott's wrecking ball. And while he's driving his wrecking ball through our community services, Abbott is taking every other opportunity he can find to kick the vulnerable while they are down. Cuts to our welfare system, in family tax benefits, paid parental leave, and the unthinkably cruel decision to force young people to wait for 4 weeks before they can access New Start allowance. That decision will entrench disadvantage. For some young people, it may have the devastating impact of making them homeless. At a time of record youth unemployment, Abbott's plan to fight unemployment is to punish the unemployed. The reality is that any one of us, any Australian, can fall on hard times. For reasons beyond our control, we could find ourselves unemployed. Ourselves or a loved one may be injured at work or in an accident. We may have a child with a disability or ourselves acquire a disability and be reliant on properly funded support services for us to move and live with dignity and respect in our community. An ageing relative may become less mobile and find themselves isolated in the community. It is community services that reach out and engage vulnerable members of the community. Any one of us might find ourselves, our sister, our daughter, a victim of family and domestic violence. Without properly funded services, where will they turn? The community sector and our social safety net do a great job at assisting many vulnerable or at-risk members of the community to overcome hardship, to live with dignity and respect in the community. Abbott and this government are attacking what makes Australia great. A fair go for all, a helping hand when you are down, a right to live with dignity and respect no matter who you are or where you come from. These are the values that our mighty trade union movement has fought for over generations. And once again, it will be our mighty united trade union movement that will fight to maintain them, that will fight to protect them. We will defend our living standards and we will defend a fair go for all Australians. Delegates, I commend the resolution.